Yeah, we suck right now. The culture is actually like, I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from the pick sixes.
As the new NFL season officially begins with the start of free agency, there are unfortunately some things we must go over. New rules. As with most things the league has done, it's allegedly meant to improve the game, but some of them have led to more controversy than not. One of these changes that totally won't cause this is the banning of the hip drop tackle. Any infraction called by officials will now be 15 yards and an automatic first down. Another judgment call penalty in a league plagued by them. Oh, wonderful. The replay booth can now review instances of roughing the passer and intentional grounding. But knowing how well the pass interference reviews went, my hopes aren't high. What could be ironically useful are the new kickoff rules. They had to do something about them. The kickoff had been relegated to nothing but touchbacks for the most part. If you watch the XFL this past year, there'll be a slightly modified version of them. The kicker kicks off at his 35-yard line, and the kickoff special teams line up at the opposing 40. All but two players on the return team line up at the 35-yard line, not to move until the ball is received by a returner. The goal for the kicking team is to hit it in the landing zone, between the 20 and the goal line. If a ball lands or goes out of the end zone for a touchback, the ball is spotted at the 30-yard line. If it goes out of bounds, it's spotted at the 40 like it was before. Onside kicks also must be declared, thus eliminating surprise onside kicks. We'll definitely be complaining about these things in the future, but their newest gift to us comes with 2 games on Christmas. Wednesday football is back after a 4-year hiatus. The NBA is seething in the corner. Oh, Miami, you're laughing at Buffalo? It's funny, the same fate cursing the Bills is what's happening to you. The Dolphins need to write a cashier's check to extend Tua long term, if they feel like it. As they negotiate for every last dollar, a bunch of pieces for the defense and offensive line have been freed from their shackles to roam the NFL landscape. Pretty much the entirety of their defense. That includes Christian Wilkins. Good luck trying to replace his abilities in the interior. Forced into a defensive overhaul is definitely something, especially considering their 2 leading edges suffered major injury last season. In the meantime, have these veterans for the effort. Shaq Barrett, Jordan Brooks, Kendall Fuller, and Jordan Poyer. Aaron Brewer's also here from Tennessee as their new starting center. There's a lot of work to be done, but their salvation is coming. And it's in the form of Jonnu Smith. Somewhere Arthur Smith is suffering phantom pain over his loss.
The Miami Dolphins select Chop Robinson, linebacker, Penn State.
Miami's defense is in desperate need of overhauling. And this pick has a lot more to do with other elements at play. Mainly, I don't know, the fact that both of their high-profile edge rushers suffered severe injuries last year. Not to mention Van Ginkel and Ogba's departure, the situation had become more critical than not. Chop Robinson should hopefully fill such a role. For now, the situation is to use him and Shaq Barrett until either Chubb or Phillips are healthy. The Dolphins are a team thanks to cap issues that's reloading on the fly. The stench of January lingers. The end of the season were a person for Miami call it Brian Flores. Simply beating them down until there's nothing left. I think that's how they treated their team defense this offseason. Fully gutted and rebuilt with whatever parts they found lying around. New coordinator, new secondary, new linebacking core, new edge rushers to aid those recovering from season-ending ailments. Minus Shaq Barrett, he retired during camp. Call this team a Tesla. Sexy and exciting new age technology that has questionable durability. Is that offensive line gonna hold up this year? They'll need to protect their golden goose. Tua got the big bucks. A lot of upper mid-tier quarterbacks did this offseason. And if you don't like it, Dolphins fans will swarm you like piranha. They're a high-flying machine, but sad thing is we can't gauge them until December. The team may be blown apart by injuries at that point. Then blown apart in the wildcard round. Again. The AFC is a lot like recent years. Very wide open, but seems to lack the true power that it once had. Most of it has to do with general aging and salary cap constraints, but there's a lot of intrigue and probabilities to go around. You can make an argument for many teams here to make the playoffs. And that's a good thing for us all. The AFC East particularly has a new opening. While it's available, I still feel that Buffalo squeaks by despite competition from the Jets and Dolphins. The AFC North, it's still the Baltimore Ravens. They've always been a strong regular season team. The AFC South is very interesting. Every team's got a legit shot, but I'm choosing the Texans due to their talent level. The AFC West is still the Chiefs because God hates us all. But wild cards? Damn, that's tough. I'm going with Cincinnati, the Jets, and Jacksonville. Honestly, just throw darts in a billboard and you'll have a better chance of picking them. Such is how we all like it. Preferably with endless chaos. I know about handcuffs on an offense, but to arrest Tyreek and Calais Campbell for a traffic violation before the game? That's a bit excessive, don't you think? The NFL only accepts arrests when it's for DUI or domestic violence. They'll make sure that overzealous cop is stuck behind a cubicle for the rest of his career. Jacksonville could very well be that same fool. Every time they have a chance to make something of themselves, they just dissipate into the air. Talent vanishing as golden opportunities are squandered repeatedly. They had Miami pinned to the damn ground. Duvall had squeezed the life out of them throughout the first half. Everything was humming like a bird. That bird was apparently a canary in a coal mine. Limp dead in the second half. The Dolphins remembered they had talent on both sides of the ball and turned up the heat. Jacksonville's offense just went flat. The biggest drive was undone by a damn fumble in the red zone. To that defense? Really? Tyreek here is your Scotty Scheffler moment. A big-time 80-yard touchdown that brings life back to Miami. Is T-Law ever gonna get his big moment? He vanished like the rest of the team did. And the Dolphins are content on eating clock and kicking field goals. It's the epitome of frustration. Just fucking do something, Jags. Anything? Please? Apparently they can't. Tuanon gets them into field goal range with time winding down for the kill.
And the kick is up and it's gonna be good from 52!
Be awful nice if Miami could play for 60 minutes. It really would. They escaped here, but not every team is Jacksonville. Wasted potential every damn time. Good news, if you're a great cornerback in the NFL, it's time to reset the market. Michael Carter, you're a strong piece to the Jets defense. And the time has come for your reward. A nice payday making you the highest paid slot corner in the NFL today. It probably won't be for long, but the bag has been secured. You know who else got a few bags? Patrick Surtain. Denver's cornerstone's been worthy of a huge raise for a while. He got paid. Big time. All of the money to become the highest paid cornerback in league history. For 5 minutes. Literally. Getting jealous, Jalen Ramsey snuck up from behind and took that title with a sleeper hold. What has Jalen done to earn that title again lately? I don't know. Might be desperation by Miami? Probably? Hey, if the cap keeps going up and people are throwing out free money, why wouldn't you take it? Life's short, get your bag or 6. Miami is a very talented group that bedazzles the common fan with skill. Their only flaw is that they are absolutely useless against playoff caliber teams and in the cold. And they're especially awful against Buffalo. Even with the Bills down 3 of their best defenders, it was like witnessing a sumo match between a Yokozuna and a pipsqueak. A squash match that's over in about 5 seconds. When Tua's airmailing balls to Robbie Chosen in goddamn 2024, things need to be reassessed. He made that Bills D enhanced with superpowers. Buffalo had to barely lift a finger and they crushed them beneath their feet. Proving division superiority once again. And I wish that was the only issue for the Dolphins. Tua suffered another concussion. Especially after the horrors he suffered a few years ago, his health itself is in peril. You have to think about walking away from football at this point, right? It doesn't matter if I think he's a good QB when his head might turn into puree. Sometimes you have to save a man from himself. And Tua may be at that point. Miami didn't just lose the game, they may have lost their identity in the process. Brutality defined. Miami's DOA. The only fight they're showing without Tua is Jalen Ramsey fighting DK in pregame warm-ups. People shit on Tua for being overrated, but without him, the Dolphins are absolutely useless. Stripped bare like a man's ass. Skylar Thompson starting. It's over. In the rarest sight in the league, the Seahawks had a game where they weren't unbelievably cardiac for no reason. It was only a slight murmur or two. DK Metcalf was victorious in his skirmish by burning the defense for a long TD. Zach Charbonnet did the rest. Even with the numbing loss, it only gets worse for Miami. Skylar Thompson is also down with injury. They must rely on... How the fuck is Tim Boyle still in the league? The NFL's answer to affirmative action. He's done nothing and still gets work over better options. That's how far things have fallen. That may also include the Seahawks being 3-0. Mike McDonald can run a defense. What a surprising revelation. Who's ready for Will Levis versus Tyler Huntley? Don't scoff at me, this game's featuring a Pro Bowler under center. Even the football gods themselves couldn't polish this turd. There needs to be another curveball thrown in. Will Levis takes himself out with a shoulder injury. You couldn't even give him a first down for his efforts? He even gave us another meme to add to the bank. Instead, we get another AFC North grudge match. Mason Rudolph, the red zone reindeer, has taken the reins of this offense. And he's at least moving the damn ball down the field. Miami's complete inability to stop the run had a bit more to do with it, but Tennessee simply sucked less. I know, that's an amazing feat for them. As for Miami, I'd think it'd be wise to just leave them in the pile of misery they built for themselves. They are horrific. Even with Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley, their offense will not budge. Tua apparently has the keys to it. The free fall continues. When you finally score a touchdown for the first time in literal games, Tennessee wins by default. Now let's never talk about this disaster piece again. Do I have to go over this? This wasn't football. This was on-field jankum derived from heaps of cow dung. Perhaps we can get high off the noxious fumes instead of suffer through what these two teams depict as the sport. It more resembled the modern art interpretation of suffering. Dostoevsky himself would be in awe at such a revelation of pain. The only positive being Ramondre Stevenson's revival from the depths of being benched. New England is one of the finest Tank Bowl contestants this year. From their horrific offense to god-awful offensive line, Jacoby Brissett will be wearing a colostomy bag by week 15. Miami's isn't much better. Tyler Huntley starting again, and he's leading a Pro Bowl caliber charge of shit. Only the field goal will be their ally as the Dolphins slowly creep into the affair. Yet New England isn't what we call good. Miami will cradle the ball Tyreek style and hold it for most of the fourth quarter. Thank you, battered Patriot defense and penalties. They'll slowly go down the field, and in the most shocking revelation, Miami scores a touchdown. In a Tua-less age. Crazy. Yet the on-field abortions will continue. The Patriots are rushing with fury. They get to the red zone, and worse, a touchdown is secured. Or so we think. Jalen Polk is 1 foot down, a toe in, and then the heel goes out of bounds. The Patriots lost their plot armor a while ago, so this pass is incomplete. Everyone feels so bad for them as they lose. Miami survives an atomic bomb dropping to go 2-3. I don't get it, but they did. Now may we never speak of this again. The memes are being punished. Joe Flacco will rot on the bench for Anthony Richardson developing as a starting quarterback. It's not working out. AR-5's developing as well as grass in the Sahara. He's wildly inaccurate on even the most basic throws. It doesn't matter if he's got a cannon arm if he can't control it. He's a glorified running back right now. And I don't know if that's ever changing with this style of play. They know who their best option is. And it's the guy on the bench. Put him in, you cowards! The fortunate thing for the Colts is they're playing a team even more pathetic than them right now. Anthony Richardson may be shit, but Miami has nothing. Not even a smidge of offensive ability. Any hope undone by horrible fumbles. Do either of you boys want to try and win the game? No? Okay, carry on with the terrible football. Yet despite this shit show, we'd be wishing for it by the end. Tyler Huntley is now her QB number 3. The Dolphins now go from a Pro Bowler to Tim Boyle, the NFL's DEI hire. I don't know what blackmail he has or how great his X Factor is in holding a clipboard, but he certainly isn't good on the field. Like most weeks, Indianapolis didn't really win. It drunkenly stumbled into a few walls, creating the perfect storm of knocking their opponent unconscious. The Colts, by the grace of God itself, are over 500 again, with a destroyed defense and their best QB on the sidelines. I love and hate this league all at the same time. A crucial return in their hour of need. Tua has been cleared from concussion protocol. The risk is great, but the reward is more than necessary. Miami finally has an offense again. No longer privy to alleged Pro Bowlers and DEI hires under center. They will finally be able to do what wasn't done in almost 2 months. Move the football forwards. 20 points in a game for the first time since week 1. Insane to think with all these weapons, but Tua is the key to this offense. And it's finally humming again. 10-point lead with the ball in your own territory is... what the hell? The whole team suddenly blue-screened and it bricked the servers. The thing about the Cardinals is that in chaos, they are thieves. They love nothing more than stealing wins away from their complacent opponents. Miami, here's where you learn that Tua returning only solved one of your problems. There are many. Mainly the fact that the Dolphins defense has the effectiveness of a broken condom. Kyler and MHJ out here making magic happen between the white lines, and boom, you're so fucked you're 4 months pregnant by proxy. Their only way to win was to outgun them. With the Cardinals defense stuffing them on the final drive, Miami will have to make a stop. Any kind of stop. Any. No? Then enjoy this horrible dagger from the stone of defeat. How does it feel to see Chad Ryland go from absolute shit in New England to kicking clutch field goals on repeat? About as bitter as Miami's horrible loss? The Cardinals are 500, taking names and ripping their hearts out as they still beat. Gaze at the dying men before you, for they are Dolphins. Their season in a mass grave like the team is. It doesn't matter if it's in a place where Miami can never win. This is as must-win as it gets. Not even thinking about division, but just to have a chance to make the playoffs. Tua's back and revving at full speed, so the training wheels are coming off the offense. Perhaps we should keep the training wheels on Keon Coleman, especially after that gift of a pick he gave up. Buffalo struggling in the first half of a game. What a novel concept for 2024. Don't worry, they'll snap out of it with an awkward McDermott speech at halftime. It's a tale of two halves. The second one is a complete shootout. Now this is the game that was advertised. Blow after blow after blow would be thrown in a bout of heavyweights. Offense is shining and defense is unable to keep up with the onslaught. Even the Dolphins were able to find life with the missing piece known as Tua. If only he was healthy the whole year, but they'll take what they can get. The Bills just can't shake off their prey. Miami's fighting to live, and they more than do so with a long drive near the end of the fourth. The home crowd is shocked. Touchdown Jalen Waddle. Tie game again. But the Bills have a chance to respond. The 2-minute drill gets them to the fringes, but chances to go further are unsuccessful. It's all going to come down to a 61-yard field goal. Pretty ballsy, especially with Tyler Bass at the helm.
Wind is subsided. 61-yard try for the lead. It is Owens. He's got it. He's got it. He's got it.
Well done, Mr. Bass. You get to keep your job. Call it vengeance for wide right, but the narratives call for Buffalo to lord over the Dolphins at their home. They will do so with ease. Especially as Jalen Waddle tries that old Madden trick of running back to your own end zone. It doesn't work in real life, Jaden. And the Bills all but secure a home playoff date in January. Your season's all but finished, Miami. Just pack it the fuck in. You can simply blame it on injuries instead of anything you guys did personnel-wise. It's perfect! The Dolphins can be like Tua and call his critics slobs who eat chips on the couch. Now, I take great offense to that comment. I eat chips near my computer. This was some awful football to watch. Both of these franchises aren't close to 100% nor legit contenders, and it showed. A comedy of errors for offenses ahoy. The powers of their might were transferred to the Thursday night affair. Defenses will feast on caviar and skill positions tonight. Mostly because neither side is a goddamn offensive line. Does anyone care to block anymore? Tua's head's turning into primordial soup and the Rams just trip over themselves. Hope you saved room for dessert because there are plenty of turnovers to go around. And the Mucks somewhat had to come out on top. And LA just kept making careless mistake after careless mistake. Miami's offense was mostly useless, but even the most hobbled of teams can take advantage of it. The win was unsightly and grotesque, but the Dolphins managed to stop the bleeding. Well, hypothetically. Their defense is still getting the shit beaten out of it. It's gonna be a very long road for both franchises. And this might be the game that cost the Rams a playoff spot. Have you seen the NFC? It's cutthroat as all hell. The fortunate thing is that Miami has a chance to escape tank bowl contention soon. When you play teams like the Raiders, it's all but a certain possibility. Las Vegas is a sideshow that's more interested in fighting for the likes of Cam Ward and potentially a new head coach. Miami still has long-shot ambitions of a postseason ticket. but it was looking quite perilous in the first half. The Dolphins, despite their metric ton of yardage and time of possession, couldn't truly shake off their adversary. The Raiders may not have a defense, but Miami's unit in that end is both hobbled and quite ineffective. Good news, you can't stop Brock Bowers whatsoever. Dread it, but it's an offensive showcase for both groups, turning into a drag race. More alarming for Miami, but Tua's still in the saddle, and he will unleash his abilities with haste. He wants to finish this, and he will with a precision throw to Jonnu Smith. Arthur Smith's pizza sense is tingling somewhere in Pittsburgh with this news. Don't worry, Gardner's gonna fuck it up soon. There we go. Miami survives to rattle off consecutive wins with some momentum. Raiders, the tank bull is yours with consecutive loss number 6. And oh, what a prize it shall be. What is the prize this year anyway? There's no clear-cut number 1 pick. It's a Patriots game where they travel through the harsh swamps of Miami. If you didn't expect a terrible outcome for New England, I don't know what to tell you. Tua hasn't lost a game against these fools, and it continued here again. They pounced on an unprepared opponent early and never allowed them to get back up. Any chance for the Patriots was lost before a snap was made, mostly due to their offensive line. An inferno of fuck-ups. You think they missed Dante Scarnecchia or what? 10 penalties in the day is never a sign of anything good. And against Tua's might, the only thing taking place is a Dolphin revival, proving their might by scoring 31 consecutive points as guys like Drake May can only stand there in awe or run for their lives. It was an utter Miami rout, a rare sight in the season. They'll have to run the table, but if they can, the playoffs are still within reach. Their end-of-year schedule's paper thin. Such an outcome is very possible if they want it. Then again, this is in theory. This defense is iffy enough that they could lose them a game or two on their own. Miami is a machine with an offense without compare or contemporary. Destroyer of worlds and dazzler of the common man. But like the Death Star, the Dolphins only have one glaring flaw in their construction. They cannot function below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. They're playing a night game at Lambeau. There is snow falling. It's over. The narratives will linger as Green Bay does not care for their petty ambitions. They only want to keep pace with the Motor City. And they hated Flipper. Miami's first half was like The Rock's acting range. Flat. And by that point, it was already over. Jordan Brooks said the quiet part out loud. Packers players are taunting them about it. Them boys looked more than cold out there. They were frozen shut. As Green Bay gets their easiest win of the year, the Dolphins no longer have room for error. Their playoff aspirations may be all but shot, but don't tell that to them. They still fancy themselves as a contender. Be thankful they have the Jets twice, but if the Niners get back to form, death knell. It's that time of the year again, when the playoffs start to peek into the picture and we discuss the scenarios at hand. Such a chaotic time, but not really for the AFC. Their picture is pretty much set, barring a collapse or two. Kansas City and Buffalo have already punched their tickets to the dance. Pittsburgh will most likely with another win. Houston's only saving grace is that their division is ass and they have tiebreaker over the Colts. Baltimore, the Chargers, and Denver bring up the surprising wildcards of this conference. Indianapolis is still gunning for that final spot, even if it's a long shot. Miami and Cincinnati are still alive, but barely. There's been a lot of disappointment for teams this season, but there's still a chance they remembered the rules.
Don't get eliminated!
No margin for error, Dolphins. The Jets may be dead men walking, tormented by locales of past and present, but Miami's got their own problems to worry about. Mostly that their offense is good, yet it can't convert most of their opportunities into touchdowns in the early going. Jason Sanders is a quality kicker, but if you don't have an unbelievable defense, it's going to be more than a cardiac event. Guess he doesn't have the greatest unit on that end. If you guess Miami, you're correct and win nothing. It might not be the worst one on the field here somehow, but it just goes to show the struggles they must endure. Aaron Rodgers of old has made his return in the Miami sun. His first game throwing for over 300 yards since being immunized. I didn't realize it had been that long. And thanks to his resurgence and an offense finally starting to live up to preseason hype, the Jets have an 8-point lead in the fourth quarter. We know that isn't lasting too long. It's a touchdown and tie game faster than you can say Tunga Vailoa. Pretty corny. It's about par for the course with this channel. Don't forget to dislike and unsubscribe. After short drives by both teams, New York has a chance at glory for once, pushing the envelope and making things very steamy down here. The Jets can finish these fools in their playoff dreams in one fell swoop, yet they can't. They settle for the field goal. Trusting the defense would have been a very sound decision. if this were 2023.
Nope.
This New York Sack Exchange is cratered as if it's a shitcoin. Get a celebrity endorsement, give them a few bucks, then pull the rug on the suckers that bought in. Miami gets into field goal range for the sake of Colonel Sanders' leg, and he delivers his unique blend in between the uprights for overtime. You think Aaron's gonna get a shot to win it? Sorry kids, these are Jonnu Smith hours. Arthur Smith swells with pride somewhere in Pittsburgh because this offense apparently runs through him. The deadliest weapons are the ones you save for last.
Good time to the end zone. Got it! Smith, touchdown! The Dolphins win!
Miami scrapes by with the most crucial of wins to keep their season alive. The car may be all but totaled and missing both side mirrors, but it got to the finish line. The inevitable outcome for the Jets is confirmed. A mighty fine butt fumble they've unleashed on the football world. 1 month left. Get your tickets to the postseason ready now or be left out in the cold. We know the drill by now. The AFC hasn't seen much change from last week. No clinchings, but Pittsburgh's one step closer. Houston, Baltimore, and Denver were on bye, but the Chargers lost to Kansas City's Black Magic, make it a three-way tie. It's not set in stone. Indianapolis is a paper-soft schedule to end the year. Beating Denver will go a long way towards a hilarious berth. Miami and Cincinnati are both still alive, but have a steep road ahead of them. You aren't out of the dance until you hear the dreaded words told to a few teams already. You know them by heart.
Don't get eliminated!
One of the biggest matchups of the NFL week comes between two teams that are honestly underachieving on a grand scale. Houston's record's deceiving if you haven't been watching them. Miami's just a hot mess rivaling Florida humidity in the summertime. This game more than reinforced both these narratives, but the true agony came for the Dolphins. In this setting, Tua was afflicted with a dreaded case of Carson Wentz syndrome. He completely shit the bed. Tua turned the ball over, made an encore appearance at the worst possible time. Terrible turnovers delivering retribution to a barrage of haters in his wake. That interception near the end of the first half was devastation rivaling a hurricane. Stingley and Lassiter may be an outstanding cornerback pair, but Miami did themselves no favors here. It's the epitome of their season. Have opportunities to get back in the game. Houston's offense can do absolutely nothing for entire drives at a time. The Finns are only down by 8. Tua should easily get them back into the affair, if he isn't throwing terrible picks. More frustrations aplenty for both franchises and a slow decay to dust and ash. The Texans have been miserable as well, but Miami wanted the loss so much more. How does this game end? Why are you even asking? It's a final showing from Tua turned the ball over. If the Ravens are a paper tiger, the Dolphins aren't even a paper kitten. Glorified stat patters that can't beat anyone with a winning record in the McDaniel era. And that benefits Houston. They've been incredibly shitty this season, but the AFC South is even worse. They win the division by default. 3 games remain. This week was critical in deciphering the playoff formulas, but it doesn't mean that we're anywhere close to a solution. We need to go deeper. The AFC's number 1 seed is Kansas City's for now, but with Buffalo's tiebreaker and the Mahomes injury, things could be getting complicated there. The AFC North will be all but decided this Saturday. Steelers and Ravens locking horns. If Pittsburgh wins, they clinch it outright. If Baltimore breaks them, they control their own destiny there. The loser will secure a wildcard spot, and the other 2 are up for grabs. Denver's all but secured one with last week's win, but the Chargers are solely in 7th. They should make it barring a collapse. They do fall, Indy gets first rights, followed by Miami and Cincy. All 3 are on life support, however. Get ready. These words are gonna come in handy.
Don't get eliminated!
These 2 teams are on the brink of death. Let's make this one fun for the crowd. Make them play on a tightrope, over top a burning pit of lava with fire dragons jumping out ready to feast on the fallen. Perhaps it'll be another running back like the 4th stringer the Niners are now forced to start. That's pretty much San Francisco's season. A world-class sprinter forced to be cut off due to a gangrenous foot. I'd recommend applying for handicapped parking since that's the only thing you'll be doing come January. Miami knows the stakes, not only taking a lead early, but staying ahead. The Niners just can't get that spark back. Flame's gone, and any attempt to try and rekindle the fires are in vain. It'd have been over sooner, but Tyreek Hill kept dropping passes for some inane reason. While these 2 teams hang on for dear life, Devon Achan's running sprints up and down the rope. He had himself more than a career day, he had a season-saving one. The Dolphins, even if it's futile, stay alive for at least one more moment. But of all the outcomes of 2020 2.0, San Fran just goes out sad. Their offense fading to a whimper, being unable to break Miami's rain-soaked grip on the field of play. Now comes an offseason where they may be absolutely fucked. The team bought a white elephant. Deep questions need to be asked about the team and executive branch assembled. Hoping for a final surge to greatness, but instead getting the equivalent of Trey Lance. The time has come to crunch. We're nearing the finish line. And there's still plenty of positions at the round table to play for. The number 1 seed in the AFC will be decided as such. Kansas City's a winning clinch. The Bills need to win out and the Chiefs to lose out to secure it. It's very possible considering their respective opponents. The AFC North is wide open after the Ravens win last week. However, the Steelers still control their own destiny. But if Pittsburgh slips up, Baltimore can make their move. The wildcard slots are pretty much set in stone, barring a collapse or two. Liquid LA and Denver are all but a shoo-in, just needing to win and they're in. The Broncos' opponents aren't exactly slouches, though. Indy, on the other hand, is playing glorified JV squads. Cincy and Miami are also chomping at the bit if they fall apart. Don't be left out in the cold, NFL world, lest you suffer the greatest humiliation.
Don't get eliminated!
2 games in the 4 p.m. window and one of them is this slop? We don't even get the flash of Tua since he's out with injury. Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley against Dorian Thompson-Robinson. We should have just quick-simmed this one. It would have been much more enjoyable to see the result instead of witnessing whatever the fuck this was. As mind-numbing and rain-soaked as the weather conditions in Cleveland. The perfect allegory for the factory of sadness. Miami, you picked the right time to deal with the Tua injury. Browns had absolutely nothing to offer. DTR threw almost 50 times and only averaged 3.6 yards per attempt. It's pretty much the only stat you need to see. Simply preparing their fans for another year of Deshaun Watson. Snoop Huntley, on the other hand, lived up to his Pro Bowler reputation by being efficient and careful with the football, which is all they really needed. It's unseasonably warm in Cleveland, so the Dolphins survive. It'll take a miracle to get to the playoffs, but it is possible. Kind of hard to believe, but this season's been weird as hell. This week settled a lot of questions, particularly with seeding in the AFC. The contestants have dwindled to a few, but there are a couple of spots up for grabs, mainly in the AFC. The North is still undecided. Baltimore now controls their own destiny in this regard. Win and claim it. If they lose and Pittsburgh wins, the division will run through them instead. The final piece of the AFC puzzle is the 7th seed. Denver holds it for now, but a skid leaves them in danger. They're fortunately still win or tie and in. If they slip up, Miami gets the spot if they win. If Denver and Miami lose, Cincy will sneak into the picture. If everyone loses, the Broncos still get it. Oh, what a time it is to be a fan. The stakes are higher than ever. And there are 3 words that echo throughout time and space.
Don't get eliminated!
The main attraction that many are interested in is the 7th seed in the AFC. Who will earn the right to get their asses kicked in Buffalo? Will it be Denver, who has first right to it? Will it be Miami, who can pull it off with a Broncos loss? Or will it be the Bengals, who need miracles for it to happen? We spoke of the Dolphins potentially having hope, but everything was against them in the art of war. It's not a team over 500, but conditions at MetLife are below freezing. And they'll have to rely on Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley yet again. He's not repeating what he did against Cleveland. Miami didn't just fail to show up in a must-win contest, they fell to a whimper, curling up into a ball simply to be put to sleep. When you make lol Jets mellow out in favor of a new flare of destruction, you're finished. Counter Devon H. and Aaron Rodgers finally flashed his old form. It's against a bunch of imposters, but if this is his last game, he went out on top of a pile of dung, returning to a different shade of green, owning inferior franchises with his arm-delivering goodies to Devontae and Alan Lazard. His 500th touchdown secured and more. Congratulations, now get the fuck out of New York and never return. It leads to a hollow Jets victory and a chasm of defeat. An absolute disaster for Miami. And I'm not just talking about this game. Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer staying put due to organizational apathy. Why is Greer still around again? Is it to cut Calais Campbell or trade Tyreek Hill? He's now pouting like his drops and wants out of this mediocre shit heap. Like the Dolphins in the cold, the grass isn't greener on the other side. It just loses to anything over 500.
Miss!
Is this what it was all for? Flash and hype surrounding them revealed to be smoke and mirrors. Miami season cut down like their edge rushers. To call the Dolphins paper kittens is a compliment to them. The reality is their whole operation's built on quicksand. I already know their game plan. Miami's gonna solely blame this year's failure on the 2 injuries and call it a day. Was that really it, though? That's a symptom of far greater issues ailing the franchise. If Tua's concussion was the culprit, why were they still losing after he came back? Why did the Dolphins shit the bed whenever they play a team over 500? Why can't they play below 40 degrees Fahrenheit? Why does Tyreek want out of this mediocre shit pile? Okay, that one might just be a temper tantrum, but what the hell are they not making changes? You can justify McDaniel, but why is Greer surviving? For his terrible O-lines and soft team construction? So he can trade Tyreek for some belly button lint? The Dolphins need to ask themselves some serious questions, yet they'll never do so. And that's why they're doomed to repeat the same cycle for years on end.